What is going on, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Mike Roach Podcast, where I talk sports, politics, and beyond. Okay, now, folks, you know me. When it comes to the podcast, from now on, I just jump straight into it. I don't waste too much time, so that's what I'm gonna do. But before I do that, I do gotta say I really appreciate the love and thank you for all the support. And as long as you guys appreciate it, I will continue to feed you with the content. Okay, so now that that's out the way, a couple things that I want to speak about today. The first one is about Doug Ford and his comments about the death penalty. Okay, that's a very interesting one, and people have tried to weaponize it against him. But I also think that he kind of got some people on his side with it at the same time. So we will discuss that. The second thing I want to talk is DOGE. Okay, the Department of Government Efficiency that is being run by Elon Musk underneath Donald Trump. Now, that has been the talk of the US. It is a massive, massive deal. And the world is actually talking about it. Okay, not just America. And I was wondering, is that something that can potentially benefit Canada, seeing that we are one of the highest taxed countries in the world? In the world, I believe we're in the top 25 in highest tax countries in the world. So I want to talk about that as well. Now, another thing I want to discuss is once again in regards to Drake and DeMar DeRozan. How long is this going to continue? How long is this going to continue with this guy? Okay. He does have good reason to be upset. We'll discuss, but it is something I want to talk about briefly because I got my thoughts on it. I'll put it that way. I do have my thoughts on it, so we will talk about that. And then just some NBA news and my thoughts about All-Star Weekend and that kind of stuff before I close out of here. Okay? So, I do have a couple videos that you'll watch and a few articles and stuff, some stuff I'll be reading off the internet as well. So, let's start off here first with Doug Ford. Okay? Now, Doug Ford made some comments about the death penalty and sending them straight to Sparky. I've never heard it put in that way before, but okay, let's see what this is about. Let's see what this is about. Ontario PC leader Doug Ford reportedly joked about, and this is from CBC, by the way. Okay. Let me clear my throat there. Okay. This is by CBC, as I mentioned. Okay. Ontario PC leader Doug Ford reportedly joked about bringing back the death penalty during a campaign speech at a London, Ontario police chief gala in late January. The Toronto Star first reported the news Thursday. That was on February 13th, saying in a recording of Ford's speech it had obtained that the politician talked about empowering judges to send them straight to Sparky. Canada abolished the death penalty decades ago. A spokesperson for the PC party shared a statement Thursday evening clarifying the remarks after the story was published. The premier made a poor taste joke out of frustration for the many people affected by violent criminals out on our streets because the federal government's broken bail system and soft on crime policies, the spokesperson said. The premier does not support capital punishment, but rather firmly believes more needs to be done to keep violent and repeat offenders behind bars where they belong. Now, with that being said, I also do have video of this. So, what I'm going to do is I will send you to X, where most of my videos are, by the way, and then I'll discuss it. Okay. So, let me share my screen with you so that you can see what I'm talking about here. All right.
Someone breaks in your house, uses a gun, 10 years automatic. They discharge that gun, you get 15 years automatic. God forbid they shoot someone and they survive 20 years automatic. And God forbid, 25 years, I send them right to Sparky, and we'll take care of everything from there.
Damn. So that was the comment. Okay, that was what everybody was in an uproar about, is when Doug Ford said this. Now that was, I mean, listen, that's surprising to me. I didn't think anybody would have the temerity to go that far and say something like that. But I will say a lot of people were outraged by this, and by outrage, like, I mean, they're definitely trying to use it against him in the provincial election. People were mad to this point.
You take me to him. Take me to the son of a bitch. Take me to him. Come on. Go, 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 go. You stay here.
Listen, I mean, here are my thoughts about this overall. First of all, do I believe Doug Ford actually believes what he said? Absolutely. Yes, I do. I really believe he feels that way. And guess what? At the point that we're at right now, with crime soaring through the roof in the greater Toronto area, I think a lot of people feel that way as well. Okay. Now, he talked about, here's a point that I think was fair with what Doug Ford brought up. And I'll say this. He didn't say it was like for some petty crime. He didn't say it was just for breaking and entering. He didn't say it was for shooting somebody. He said, if you broke into somebody's house, discharged your firearm, and murdered someone, that is now when you would send them to Sparky. I don't completely disagree with that, because the place is completely out of control. Violent crimes up damn near 100%, or somewhere in that area. I mean, I had all the statistics. If you want to hear the statistics, go a few episodes back and looked at when I talked to Clayton Campbell, who is the president of the Toronto Police Association. Okay. I got all the statistics in there. You go see it. Go see it. And speaking of that, I got to show you something else. Listen to this, because he mentioned that this bail system that we have right now I'll speak for Ontario, because this is where the crime is going crazy. Maybe some other places in Canada as well, but I'll speak for here. You got people committing serious crimes during the breakfast hours, and they're on break. They're waiting for the lunch special at McDonald's. Okay, they're already out on bail. It almost doesn't matter what you do at this point. But I got to show you this as well, because this is crazy. Let me show you what the Toronto Police Association shared today. Let me show you. Okay. Look at this. Do you live anywhere close to 53 Division? Pretty much. Okay. Were you waiting for an officer to respond last night? You may not have received the service you deserve, because from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., only 2 cars, 4 officers were available to respond. Our members, including our supervisors, are doing the best they can with the resources they have, but our divisions remain understaffed despite efforts to hire more officers. Let me go into and switch this up for you, just in case you can't see it properly. This is because we are losing more people to resignations than ever before. If you want more officers available to serve you, tell Mayor Chow, the Toronto Police Service Board, and the chief that you deserve better service and our members deserve more support. Wow. I mean, it's just blatant at this point. And you could see that Toronto Police has had enough of what is going on in this damn bail system. Criminals walking out of jail every second. They've just had enough. They've just had enough here. And it's for reasons like this and the things that are going on around the city why Doug Ford said what he said, in my opinion. Okay? Now, listen, there are a lot of people that aren't going to agree with what Doug Ford said I would think the large majority maybe won't agree. But you do have to admit that at some point something has to be done. And if nothing is going to be done and things are just out of control and getting progressively worse and worse and worse, and nobody's talking about it in regards to government and doing anything about it, at some point, something is going to happen when everything is going to have to change. And we're pretty much at that point right now because, as I mentioned to you, it's already out of control with the crime in the GTA. And then you're going to get comments like this from a guy like Doug Ford, who's pretty brash. He's not afraid to say what he has to say. But what you're going to start seeing is you're going to see more people that are starting to agree with him. And so even though he gets some backlash because of what we're seeing in the streets, a lot of people are going to agree with him at the same time. And so, like it or not like it, because nothing is being done about it, he can get away with saying this. He can. He is going to be the premier again. Ain't nobody beating him in a provincial election. I can tell you that much right now. Ain't nobody beating him. And so, I mean, take it how you want to take it. But at the end of the day, I don't see anybody who's better than Doug Ford to run Ontario at this point, especially when you're getting a whole bunch of threats in regards to tariffs from Donald Trump in the US and all that kind of stuff. You may not like what the guy has to say, but at the end of the day, there's nobody better than Doug Ford currently that I see who would do a better job of taking care of Ontario than him. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay. Moving on. DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have been hearing about DOGE and Elon Musk and exactly, you're probably trying to figure out, if you don't know much about it, then what the hell is this thing? What is this thing? So I'm going to read to you about what DOGE is, and I'm going to read it straight from Wikipedia, and then I'm going to play, I'm going to talk about it a bit, but then I'm going to show you a video of Donald Trump talking about some of this, the waste that's going on in regards to government spending in the U.S. Okay, so the Department of Government Efficiency, officially U.S. DOGE Service Temporary Organization, is an initiative of the second Trump administration managed by Elon Musk, as confirmed by President of the United States, Donald Trump. Okay, now, despite its name, DOGE is not a cabinet level department, but rather a temporary contracted organization under the United States DOGE service. Its purpose is to carry out Trump's agenda of federal spending cuts and deregulation, and according to the order of established it, to modernize federal technology and software to maximize governmental efficiency and productivity. And DOGE is scheduled to end on July 4th of 2026. Okay. Here's another part that I want to read to you. Neither DOGE or Trump has constitutional authority to cut spending, but they can make recommendations for cuts to Congress, which holds the power of the purse. The White House says Musk has no actual or formal authority to make government decisions. 24 days, listen to this, 24 days after DOGE began, the New York Times reported Trump had claimed he and Musk had found billions and billions of dollars of corrupt spending, although they did not provide evidence. Musk asserts all DOGE actions are maximally transparent, though Trump granted DOGE an exemption from public disclosure of its activities. Last thing I'm going to read in regards to this. 30 days after its inception, DOGE reported it had saved $55 billion in federal spending, though analysis of its tracking website found about $8.6 billion. In one of its cases, it miscounted the value of a $8 million contract it had canceled as $8 billion. Analysis conducted by NPR found significant discrepancies in the DOGE reporting, including that $46.5 billion of its reported $55 billion savings were not linked to any specific items. Okay, now I just read you what DOGE is and what the purpose is for it. And now I want you to watch this video with Donald Trump talking about some of the spending that has been going on. Okay, I want you to see this because it is interesting. And so let's go to bookmarks here. All right, here we go. Let's go here. Share this with you again. Let's go back to X. This is Donald Trump here.
Dollars for it. Where's the money being spent? Right? Let's go into that for just a second. $520 million for a consultant on the environment. It's called Environmental, Social, and Governance. Investments in Africa and mobilize private sector resources. Environmental, sounds like an environmental study. That's the most, I've always been one that paid a lot of money for my environmental studies, but I paid like $50,000, $520 million for ESG. $25 million to promote biodiversity, conservation, and promote licit livelihoods by developing socially responsible behavior in the country of Colombia. Well, it's nice. $25 million to go into Colombia for something that nobody ever heard of. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. $40 million. $42 million for Johns Hopkins, great place, to research and drive social and behavior change in Uganda. $42 million. What about us? What about social change in our country? $70 million for a center at Purdue to research university-sourced, evidence-based solutions to developmental challenges. I mean, these are massive numbers on things that nobody ever heard about. $10 million for Mozambique voluntary medical male circumcisions. $10 million for circumcisions in another country. $9.7 million for UC Berkeley to develop a cohort of Cambodian youth with enterprise-driven skills. In other words, let's teach them something about enterprise. What about our people? Can't we teach them about enterprise? $2.3 million for strengthening independent voices in Cambodia. $30 to the Prague Civil Society Center, which is a very liberal group of people. Wonder how much of that money came back to the people that approved it. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia. $486 million to the Consortium for Elections and Political Process Strengthening, including $22 million for inclusive and participatory political process in Moldova, and $21 million for voter turnout in India. Well, why are we giving $21 million to India? They got a lot of money. They're one of the highest taxing countries in the world in terms of us. We can hardly get in there because their tariffs are so high. I have a lot of respect for India. I have a lot of respect for the prime minister. He just left, as you know, 2 days ago. But we're giving $21 million for voter turnout. It's voter turnout in India. What about like voter turnout here? We've done that, I guess. We did 500 million, didn't we? It's called the lockboxes. $20 million for fiscal federalism in Nepal. Listen to these numbers. This is all fraud. $15 million for biodiversity conservation in Nepal. $1.5 million for voter confidence. We want to give them confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. $2.5 million for inclusive democracies in South Africa. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia's doing very well. They're doing a lot better than we do in the schools, aren't they? $2 million to develop sustainable recycling models to increase socioeconomic cohesion among marginalized communities in Kosovo and Eskali and in Egypt. We're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars. I could, by the way, I could read this all day long. I could go on all day long, and you'll see hundreds.
Okay, so this is now you're going to have to do a lot of fact checking when it comes to this stuff. Okay, because I'm sure not everything here is 100% accurate. I don't know. You'd have to do the research here, but that's not the point here, folks. That's not the point. It may not be 100% accurate. Maybe it is. I don't know, but maybe it isn't at the same time. The point is that there is a lot of wasted money from people paying their taxes. And what I'm saying is Canada is one of the highest taxed countries in the world. In the world. So would you like to see exactly where your tax money is going? That's the whole point of this. That's the whole reason on why I'm bringing this up. Because I would like something like DOGE, maybe not to the extent of what is going on with all these people in government losing their jobs and all this kind of stuff. I don't know about all of that stuff going on, because I do hear that's going on, and that there's been massive protests and all these things going on in different states around America and all this kind of stuff, with people losing their jobs in government and all that kind of stuff. I don't want any of that kind of stuff. I don't know what the hell is going on in regards to that. I am specifically talking about the wasted spending and the wasted money going to all kind of crazy things. Our dollars. That is specifically what I am talking about. I don't care about all the other nonsense. I'm talking specifically about that. Okay? I would like to see something like DOGE in Canada to find out where all the dollars are going. Don't you think that we should have a right to find out where the money is going? I mean, damn it, I sure do. Okay? Canada's tax reputation is generally seen as high. Our country ranks 25th in the world for highest taxes if we're looking at the highest federal income bracket. Canada tax rates. You can see it here, folks. I have it right here for you. If you want to pause this while you're watching it, you can look at this. Canadian federal income tax rates. This is the percentage based on the income here. Federal. If I scroll down, you can also pause here. Okay. And here, what you will see is provincial tax rates, depending on where you are. You can pause, take a look at this. And here's the thing. If you're paying crazy taxes like we do in Canada, I'm sure people would be okay with it if you were still able to buy a home, if you were still able to buy groceries without struggling. After you pay all these damn taxes, income tax time comes around and the government's telling you more than half the time you still owe them more money. I mean, are you kidding me at this point? And then we pay a carbon tax, which is set to triple or quadruple come April. So no, that's just going to hike up the price of groceries and other things even more. Ladies and gentlemen,
This is completely BS. This is shame. Shame for the referees, shame for the league to allow this.
What do you expect people to do? Do you think if they propose something like this in Canada, that these hard-working, tax-paying citizens wouldn't want this? Really? You don't think they'd want something like this to find out exactly where the hell the dollars are going? Because I can guarantee you that they would. I can guarantee you that they would. Now, I don't know what is about to happen in the US in regards to all of these things that they're finding out with these wasted spending and what these tax dollars are going to. But I'm pretty sure that we're about to find out some egregious things. And that doesn't have to do with just the spending from Democrats. That's Republicans as well. It's both parties. Okay? This isn't one or the other. It's wasted spending on both sides, and it needs to stop. But I know Canada, folks. I've lived here my entire life. I'm pretty sure there's some really, really crazy nonsense that's going on with our tax dollars. And trust me, I want to know about it. I want to know about it. Now, will that ever happen? Will we find out? Will there be something like DOGE? I would say possibly only if Pierre Poilievre gets in. If not, it's not going to happen. Just like what you see with the Democrats in the U.S. If the Democrats are in power right now, you would never know anything that's going on with your tax dollars. You wouldn't know any of this. They would never share that with you. Why would they? It would just continue. Well, it's going to be the same thing in Canada. And I'm not putting blame on any side here. I'm just saying that's the reality, most likely, of what the situation would be. And so I am telling you that me personally, I would like to know where the hell these tax dollars are going. And if you agree with that, let me know in the comments. Okay. Let me know in the comments. Do you want to know exactly where our tax dollars, you and I, where our tax dollars are going to? Because I am very interested in that. People are hurting. They're desperate. And all the time, these damn taxes are going higher and higher and higher. And Canadians are sick of it. They are sick of it. And so they need to figure something out. Okay. Now, moving on to the last thing here. Okay. This is annoying me. This is annoying me. As a guy who's been on the court of Scotiabank Arena for the last decade, knows many people in that building, have been there through that damn championship run, the blood, sweat, and tears, have been a fan since being a child. A guy like DeMar DeRozan and Drake, this is getting annoying to me. And honestly, it does have to do with more on Drake's side, but at the same time, I do understand why it's happening. Let me explain. Drake tosses a jersey, DeMar DeRozan's jersey. I can just show it to you. How about we do that? How about I just show you? Let's go back to X once again. And I could just show it to you because it's probably easier if I just do it that way. All right, let's go. Now I will rewind that once again in case you missed it. Okay, so it looks like somebody threw DeMar DeRozan's jersey on the stage because I don't know where else would it come from? Somebody threw it on the stage. Okay, now here's the thing here, folks. Here's the thing about what I don't like about this whole situation. And listen, I get it. Drake's upset still about DeMar DeRozan dancing around and not like us. He's being called a pedophile, which is egregious, obviously. But here's what I don't like about the whole situation. Drake is an ambassador for the Toronto Raptors. DeMar DeRozan is most likely going to be hanging in the rafters at some point. And overall, it's just a bad look for the Toronto Raptors, period. That's what it comes down to. It's a bad look for them because they have to be kind of loyal to both of these guys, I would say. You got love for DeMar, you got love for Drake at the same time. So it kind of puts them in a weird situation as well. What do you do here? And don't get me wrong, here's the thing. I understand why Drake is mad. I do. And I believe he has the right to be upset about that as well. Because DeMar DeRozan, to me at least, I don't think he had to pick sides in this battle to the point where he had to be dancing around in the video, pretty much piggybacking off what Kendrick's saying. He's a pedo, he's this, he's that, and the other. And then he wants to be cool with Drake after, and Drake ain't having it. But I get it. He's from Compton. So is Kendrick Lamar. All I'm saying is, why'd you have to be up in the video? Did you think he was going to take that lightly? Did you think that was just going to be okay? Really? That's not okay, man. That is not okay in Drake's eyes and a lot of people's eyes. That is, I actually heard Drake in a conversation talking about this. Listen, I got it right here.
Know how I must feel that you betrayed me? Did you tell the folks that? You bitch.
Oh, Jesus. Family show here, man. Take it. Listen, all I'm saying is, at some point, with Drake as the ambassador and DeMar DeRozan at some point going up in the Raptors at Scotiabank Arena, I would like to see there be some type of resolution here and figure out how they're going to solve this issue. Doubt it's ever going to happen. But you never know. My thing is this as well. If these guys were boys and Drake is so goddamn pissed off about this, why don't you just pick up the phone and call him? I mean, that's kind of a weird situation as well. I mean, what would he really say? What would he really say? I don't know. How would you handle this? If you guys are listening to this right now in the comments in regards to Drake and Kendrick Lamar, if you are Drake, if you are DeMar DeRozan, and you needed to come to some type of resolution, some type of truce, how would you do it? It's a genuine question. How would you do it? Because I just don't see how you would do it at this point. Okay, folks. So, I mean, good luck to both of those guys with this situation, but it's not going to end anytime soon, which I don't like. Okay, now, before I get out of here, a couple things I do want to mention. NBA All-Star Weekend. Not impressed. Didn't enjoy Sunday that much. Dunkoff was okay. Castle and McLung. Other two guys were a joke. Can't even remember their names. 3-point shootout, not bad. But overall, like Mac McLung, I thought he did a really good job, actually. I'm going to drop a bomb. Because first time somebody has won back to back 3 times in a row. Huge accomplishment for him. Probably in the top 5 all time, in my opinion, of people that have been in the dunk contest. He's doing some pretty crazy stuff. It really is. And I understand, like, he's not a sexy name and a superstar. He's out of the G League. And so he's probably not going to get the credit that he deserves. But you got to give it to the dude, because not only is he doing crazy, wild dunks, he's pretty much hitting everything on the first attempt. And you got to show this guy a lot of love, man. He pretty much saved the dunk contest the last 3 years. If it wasn't for him, All-Star Weekend might have been canceled by now at this point. That's how bad it's been. And maybe it will be in the near future, because I don't know what these guys are going to do to improve this weekend. But if it didn't happen, I pretty much wouldn't care anymore at this point. That's how bad it's been. Okay. Sending prayers to Laval Barr and his family. That man got his foot amputated. That is crazy. That came out of nowhere. Didn't hear anything about that until it actually happened. But listen, man, prayers to him and his family. Hope it cured or fixed anything that was threatening his life prior to that. I don't know if it could have been cancer, diabetes, whatever. I just hope that after doing that, it can give him long life and he can continue on raising his sons and living a good life with his family. Sad to hear the news about Wemby, who is out for the rest of the season. That really hurt to hear as well. Was interested to see what he can do if he's got into the playoffs or something like that. That would have been cool as well. But there's a lot going on, folks. A lot going on. And before I get out of here, once again, I do have to mention, thank you for the love and support that you have been showing me. Honestly, like, I'm not somebody who's entitled, okay? And nobody owes me anything. So anybody who subscribes to this program, shares it, you're commenting, and you're just showing some love, I'm showing the love right back to you. And I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. If you enjoyed today's topics, please take it a moment, follow, subscribe, like, and rate the podcast. Your feedback is always welcome, and it helps me reach more listeners who are just as passionate about these topics as I am. Now, don't forget to connect with me on social media. I'd love to hear your thoughts. You can find me on Instagram at Mike Roach 7, on X at Mike Roach 23, on TikTok at the one Mike Roach. And remember to check out my recent videos for more engaging content. You can also find me on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. So, folks, it's your boy Mike Roach. Be back again soon, and I'm out.